Have you ever noticed how one small comment can ruin your entire day? A coworker says something dismissive, your partner forgets something important, or someone leaves you on red and suddenly your whole mood shifts. But here's the truth that changed everything for me. Nobody has the power to disturb your peace unless you hand them that power. Let me tell you about a man who discovered this life-changing secret and how his transformation might just be the answer you've been searching for. There was a time when this man, let's call him Ahmed, lived in constant frustration. Every minor inconvenience felt like a personal attack. His family walked on eggshells around him because anything could set him off. A mistake in his morning coffee, traffic on his commute, even the sound of his neighbors enjoying themselves would trigger an explosion of anger. He blamed everyone around him for his misery, never once looking inward to see that he was actually the source of his own suffering. His wife would gently suggest that maybe he was being too reactive, but he refused to listen. In his mind, the world was disrespectful, and he was simply defending himself. What he didn't understand was that every time he reacted, he was giving away his power to control his own emotional state. Everything changed when a teacher came to town. This wasn't just any ordinary person, but someone who radiated genuine calm and wisdom. People were drawn to his presence because he seemed completely unshakable. Ahmed's wife encouraged him to seek guidance, but his pride got in the way. At first, why would he need help from someone who didn't understand his daily struggles? But after another explosive outburst left him feeling hollow and exhausted, he finally admitted to himself that something had to change. That night, as he lay awake filled with regret, he made a decision that would alter the course of his life forever. The next morning, Ahmed approached the teacher and confessed his struggle. The teacher listened with complete presence and then asked a simple question that cut through years of programming. When you get angry, who suffers more, you or the person who triggered you? Ahmed sat with this question and realized a painful truth. Hours after his outbursts, the other person had usually moved on with their day, while he remained consumed by rage, replaying the incident over and over. The teacher explained that anger is like holding a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else, but you're the one getting burned. He showed Ahmed that a disturbed mind is like muddy water. You can't see clearly through it. The solution isn't to stop the world from disturbing the water, but to learn how to let things settle so clarity returns naturally. The teacher gave Ahmed a practical lesson using the simplest tools. He had him observe boiling water and asked if he could touch it. Obviously not. It would burn him. That's what happens when your emotions are boiling, the teacher explained. You can't access peace or wisdom in that state. Then he dropped dirt into the water, showing how reactions cloud our judgment. But when left alone, the dirt settled and the water became clear again. This metaphor struck Ahmed deeply. For years, he had been constantly stirring up his own internal waters, never giving himself a chance to experience natural clarity. The solution wasn't about controlling external circumstances. It was about learning not to immediately react to every provocation. Ahmed committed to changing his patterns, and the transformation wasn't easy at first. Old habits die hard, and his instinct was still to lash out when triggered. But he started practicing a new response: pause, breathe, and choose. When a merchant tried to overcharge him at the market, instead of arguing and creating a scene like he normally would, he simply stated his boundary calmly and walked away. The merchant was stunned because he expected the usual confrontation. But what surprised Ahmed even more was how empowered he felt afterward. By not engaging in the drama, he had actually won. He went home that night and slept peacefully for the first time in months, realizing that real strength isn't about dominating others through anger. It's about maintaining your inner calm regardless of external chaos. His biggest test came when a group of young men mocked him publicly, calling him out for his past behavior and sarcastically praising his attempts to change. In that moment, he felt the old rage rising like a familiar fire. His fists clenched and his face flushed. But then he remembered the teacher's core lesson. When you react, you give your power away. He took a conscious breath, relaxed his body, and responded with something that completely disarmed them. He simply acknowledged his past and expressed gratitude for the opportunity to grow. The mockers were confused because they came looking for a fight and instead found someone who refused to play the game. One of them asked how he could possibly stay calm when being insulted, and his answer was profound. When someone offers you poison, you don't have to drink it. That moment marked his complete transformation because he realized that external validation or criticism had no power over his internal state unless he chose to absorb it. Months passed, and Ahmed became almost unrecognizable to those who knew him before. His relationships improved dramatically because people no longer feared his reactions. His wife felt safe to express herself freely. His work became more enjoyable because obstacles no longer derailed his entire day. When he returned to thank the teacher, he articulated the core insight. People weren't making him angry. He was choosing anger as his response. Now he understood that between stimulus and response, there's a space, and in that space lies our freedom to choose. The teacher smiled and offered final wisdom. Life will always present challenges, but each time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen your inner foundation. The storms don't disappear, but you become the mountain that remains unmoved while winds howl around it. Years later, Ahmed became the person others sought out for guidance during their own struggles. His advice was always simple but powerful. Peace isn't about living in a perfect world without problems. It's about cultivating an inner stillness that remains unshaken regardless of external circumstances. When people asked if he ever felt triggered anymore, he was honest. Yes, the impulse sometimes arises, but he had learned to recognize it as just an impulse, not a command he must obey. He compared it to learning to sail. You can't control the wind, but you can absolutely control your sails and your direction. The moment he stopped reacting automatically to everything, he started actually living consciously for the first time. Here's what I want you to take away from this story. You cannot control what people say or do, and you cannot prevent challenges from arising in your life. But you have absolute control over one crucial thing, whether those external events steal your peace or not. Every single reaction is a choice, even though it might not feel that way at first. When you develop the ability to pause before responding, you reclaim your power. The person who masters their reactions masters their life. So the next time someone says something hurtful or a situation doesn't go your way, remember this story. You don't have to catch the dirt someone throws at you. Real strength isn't found in having the loudest voice or the quickest comeback. It's found in remaining calm when everything around you is chaotic. That's the secret to never being bothered again, understanding that your peace is your choice, and nobody can take it from you without your permission. If this resonates with you, consider who in your life needs to hear this message today, because the path to inner peace isn't walked alone. It's something we can all discover together, one conscious choice at a time.